Welcome to the Late Night Feed with Ange and Rob in, out, and about here on Giant TV. In studio with Mr. Danny Lamb. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me.
Good to see you
Thank you
again.
so much for having me.
So I'm going to start out by saying I consider you to be, and I may have dubbed this one on my own, a musical philanthropist.
Yeah, okay. All right.
In that you do work with a lot of other artists, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about the journey that brought you to doing all of that.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think it's interesting because teaching has always been, my dad was a teacher. He was a teacher for 30 years. I went to school to become a music teacher, and I am a music teacher. I teach a lot, as well as pursuing musical things. And that's very much been in my DNA. I think that's what I love to do. And I love working with young people. I love working with young people to develop their skills and to have their voices heard. Because I think young folks have so much to say that the moment you give them a mic to say it, you can really quickly become just shocked and awed by how much brilliance they have. So I love that when you can empower somebody to have that mic and be heard and then you just start to get so many little nuggets out of them. So the journey, I think, has always been rooted in education and I think it always will be, regardless of where music continues to grow into. And
so how early do you think a songwriter can be born? I mean, is there an age limit where it's like, well, you're 8, so not yet. Maybe when you're 10, you can be one. Is there a limit like that at all?
I don't think so. I mean, at the very root, Ange, correct me if you think I'm wrong, please. But I think in the very songs are stories. That's it. So if you write stories, if you do any kind of writing, you are a songwriter. It's just a matter of learning what a song structure then actually looks like and how a song is laid out. But any kind of writing with then a melody added onto that is songwriting. So I don't think it matters what age at all.
Yeah.
That group that you and I, for Christian's birthday, I think there was 17 kids at Song Pie.
Wow.
Yes.
And together we had to quickly outline a song, finish it, record it in the studio, and still have a party. We did it together, and it was challenging. There's pictures of Danny, with all the kids around him, and then one video going, quiet! But everybody wrote the verse, the chorus, we all separated. And they were, 10?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So 17 kids wrote a song within 2 hours with us and recorded it and did harmony.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And I mean, to that point, I think it's cool because the song was specifically around local hunger and homelessness in partnership with Project Share. And I think it's really interesting when you start to ask the questions like, what do you know about hunger? What do you know about what you've even heard or learned over the years about what hunger or homelessness looks like? And it was really interesting through those questions and through that process and trying to pull words out of them, learn what they already do know, and then figure out how we take those words and make sure we're rooting it in what the actual issues are realistically looking like. And that's kind of what we did with the music video. When the song had been finished, I turned around to Christian and his parents and said, listen, I don't fully understand what hunger and homelessness looks like, so I don't feel comfortable shooting a music video pretending like we do, because that's how issues continue to be perpetuated, and that's how issues continue to just be falsified. So I said, I think if we're really going to do this right, we need to make sure we're hearing the stories of people who actually experience those things every day and actually giving them a voice within the platform that Christians created, which is such a beautiful thing at 11 years old.
And that was his birthday wish.
That was his birthday goal.
Yeah. Such a young kid with such an adult perspective.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Just so cool. I loved it. It was an incredible process.
You work with so many young kids, and right across the board, young men, young ladies, and of course, the one that you're currently working with that is no stranger to the radio station.
Jordan's been through here, Studio 89.
MJ, yes. She's a treat, a pleasure. I met her through spina bifida and hydrocephalus, 2 conditions I work with locally and globally. And she lives with spina bifida, and I started to work with her 3-4 years ago now, and we just were working on performance and singing. That's what we were really working on. She was working with Zach Warner, who was one of the judges on Canadian Idol, in Toronto, and he then moved out east, and so they knew my name just through hydrocephalus and spina bifida here in Ontario, and so they reached out to me, and we began our working relationship. And then her mom came in one day and said it would be really cool if she got into songwriting. That would be really cool, and is that something we could try and do, because I know she'd like to, and I just think it'd be cool if she had a song. And so we wrote House of Cards, and again the process of that was, I don't know what a 13-year-old wants to sing about, so I'm not going to write this song for you. I'm going to facilitate that process and pull your words out of you. So I always tell people that she wrote the song, because she did. I very much just helped the process of what the structure looks like, and the melodic values, and all those pieces. But she wrote the song. I just pulled the words out. And now it's funny because we're still writing songs. She's got about 10 to 15 songs ready to record. She's recording a second single with Paul Gigliotti here in the Falls. And we're really excited about that one. Paul does great things as well. And really excited about that. It's called Right Here, Right Now. And it's really interesting because we'll write 1 week, and then the next week we'll come back, and this once quiet, shy kid who just listens to everything I have to say will be like, you know that song we worked on last week? Yeah, for sure, I know that one. Yeah, I don't like any of it anymore. Can we either rewrite it or scrap it and start a new one? And I'll chuckle and just say absolutely, because I love that she's doing that. I've even just started to step back. She's playing. She's played taps a few times, and she's playing a lot more on her own, which I love to see, because I would support her a lot on the piano and a lot in all the musical ways that I could. But I see a part of my goal as being working myself out of a job, working myself out of. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but I think the more she can support herself on her own guitar, which she can, the better off she'll be, because she won't need me to get on stage and play with her anymore. She can do it on her own, and I'm always going to be there for as long as they'll have me. I'm always going to be
empty
there.
Nesting at all?
100? No, heck no.
Yeah.
Heck no. I just I see the value in her. I think there's an empowerment piece attached to that, knowing that she can, if an opportunity is thrown her way that I can't be there for, or somebody else can't be there for, she's able to step up and do it, because she's confident, she's strong, she's brave, she is savvy to do it. So I say work myself out of a job. I don't ever fully want to work myself out of a job with her, because I love working with her. Right. She's a great kid, and just through House of Cards, and we thank Country 89 so much for embracing it, because it was really cool for her. I still remember we still talk about coming in, doing the segment, and then leaving and getting a call to say there's somebody who just called the station, and we got the soundbite afterwards, and that was just so cool.
It, right? It really hit home.
It's
a lot of people.
One of the things that I often think is that human being didn't need to go out of their way that day to make that call into the station to say listen, I just wanted to say that person didn't need to do that, but they did, and that was just a really cool thing that I one of the many things that I just see in her that is really cool and powerful, and I just love that she's telling her own story through spina bifida through the power of music, which we know is a super powerful tool.
So how important is it then for a child to learn how to write with a cause in mind? Does it need to happen that way? Is that a good starting point to learn the creative process?
I don't think it needs to. It doesn't need to. But I think it's interesting because a part of who I am, I think a part of what has shaped me is my job that I had for a few years at Meadowy as a speaker and facilitator, and that job really pushed me personally to dig into my own why, why I do something, why I wake up every day passionate about it, and I think it doesn't matter if you're building a business, you're building a brand, writing a song. If you don't know why you're writing that song or the real purpose that connects you to that song, then how is anybody else going to connect to that song? Because if you don't feel it, if you don't know why you're writing it, then people might not connect to it, because I don't think people necessarily buy what you do always. They buy why you do it. And telling that story, sharing that why on the front as opposed to that what on the front, can be just a really powerful tool. So I love digging. I really love digging as deep into that cause, that purpose, whatever that purpose is, and working with artists in that way. And I think it's cool because Niagara is a really, of course, special place for music, for arts, and the culture that is driven through it. And there's a lot of cool artists right now, like Eris. I know Eris, Sarah Bolton was just here. She's a great artist, a great example of an artist here in the region who not only has great songs, but there's like real the conversation of mental health and mental illness and what that looks like through her story, through her songs. And I think that I personally think that does amplify the way people hear it.
Well,
and
allows for an honest approach,
100%.
Right? From the writer and then
absolutely
to the listener as well.
Yes, yes. I think it does. It's not necessary per se, but I think it does amplify, especially today when there is so much music. There's so much music. I find myself always digging deeper. Cool, with all this music, with all this stuff, why is it that anybody should care?
Yeah.
And you're reaching the world.
Yeah, right.
We're reaching the world with our music now. You post it online.
Yeah.
Someone in Australia could be listening to your message. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about you is that you travel a lot and you go to a lot of third world countries as well.
Yeah.
So your message,
or sorry, I would kick myself if I didn't just say just through my learnings, just through some of the language. Sorry if I don't know if I can say this on air, but just not third world, but as opposed to majority world or developing.
The developing world. I like that word.
Sorry. I don't mean to. Sorry.
There's a lot of corrections. Yes, it's not the third world. It is a developing world.
Yes.
And you have visited over the last few years.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is that your music showcases an international feel. Yes. Almost every song you've written feels like anyone in the world, no matter what language they speak, could understand your message clearly. And it's a universal message. So I really commend you on that. You always come out that way and you're balanced.
Try.
And I like for you that you corrected me.
You know what?
Okay, we're long-time friends.
First of all, we are, yes. And second of all, you know what? It's interesting because some of the time, I love to learn. And I think that's another thing through just like living is super, super cool. Is there's so much to learn, and that was one of the things that, again, it was an experience that really taught me a lot about myself, not only as a person but as an artist, and just being at with Meetawee as a speaker and facilitator, and learning about some of the different language that is used. That to some people it's not harmful, but to others it is disempowering, and to a world it can be disempowering. So it's just something I've become passionate about. I'm sorry, Ange. I love you. I hope you know that.
Always correct me. I love correction.
You know what? I don't think it's even about correcting. It's just like
moving forward, understanding a new language. And let's speak about a new language. LA is up in the works a little bit.
Close. Vegas. Yes. Vegas, baby.
You're going to Vegas?
LA,
yes. Yeah. M is actually.
Yes.
M is going to Vegas. So, super interesting. So through House of Cards and through just some of the magic of her starting to use her voice, there was an organization, Spina Bifida Kansas, that reached out to us a little while ago, last year, to ask us to be a part of an event that they were doing in Kansas City. And it was kind of super last minute. They saw the lyric video, they saw the song, they loved everything, and they really wanted her part of this global conversation of Spina Bifida, which I thought was just so incredible. This is so cool. At the time, it was such short notice, we had no real way to make it happen from our end, and they weren't really set up to bring her. So they reached out a while ago and said, listen, we're doing a big conference in Vegas. We want you and M in Vegas, and it's covered. So it was a really cool. Since then it's June 28th. We had done a Vegas and social sing at this event in Vegas, and it's my hope that as our group, a Song a City, which is a kind of little music movement that's slowly transitioning into a not-for-profit and a little bit of a music movement, that we kind of create a partnership that allows something like a Song a City and Kansas City Spina Bifida or my Spina Bifida community, which is what they go as, to remain with that conversation and hopefully have them back down there and then who knows, hopefully have them up here as well, because I think it's incredible the work that people do locally, and I think just that global connection is super important as well. And I was on the phone a little while ago with the organizer, and I said, you know what, you don't know me all that well, so I just want to take a moment to give you a little bit of context on me. I've been involved with spina bifida and hydrocephalus since I was about 18, and I got involved with the International Federation, and I said one of the big questions is, how do we connect the global conversation or what the UK and Europe are doing in the rest of the world through the International Federation? How do we connect their work to Canada, to the US? Because everyone kind of has their own mandate, everyone kind of has their own thing going on, and there in lots of ways has been this disconnection. And I said, Ginger, that's the name of the organizer. I just said, thank you so much again for the invite of M and for having us down there. And I said, I'm kind of a little bit of a spiritual person, and I believe that like this whole thing is a little bit bigger than us, and it's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm just still super grateful. It's really, really cool, and I'm super excited to see what can continue to
We're
happen.
excited for you.
Well, it sounds to me like it's paying off.
Okay,
right?
it is.
Totally
It is.
paying off. All
It
the work
is.
and all the efforts, for sure.
We need to get him in and talk about M, because
that's great.
I've known her for a few years.
Yes.
And I've seen her develop now over time.
Yes.
Not just vocally, but just as a person and character.
Yeah.
She has a mission statement.
Yes. It's cool.
Yeah.
And again, I will say that traveling, going here and there and wherever else we go is cool, but I'm always going to be rooted in just my gratitude for folks like yourselves, Giant FM, Country 89, where I'm very much rooted and always will be rooted in Niagara, because I mean from local to global, I just always love coming home. This is home, and I'm really grateful for it.
So thank you for all the work you've done.
You
look at what you've accomplished in your own right, and not only with them, but with everything else you're doing. You've really done a lot of work here, and it's a huge success to you, man.
Trying. Well done. Just one step after another. That's it.
Maybe a residency in Vegas.
Who knows? Oh my God! Heck yeah! Who knows?
I can see the M. Jordan Theater somewhere down in Vegas.
Actually, you know what? It's so interesting too, because like I've never had to like apply for like performance visas or anything like that, and so like going through that entire process with and for M was just like, oh, this is new. And I mean, I was calling people that knew how to. My first call was to Dan O'Shea of My Son the Hurricane, because I mean they do so much everywhere, and he's just a wealth of knowledge in so many areas. He was the first call I made just to say, how the heck do I do this, Dano? I've never done this before. I guess I'm a manager now, and I don't know how to be a manager. So. What do I do?
It fits totally. Thanks for joining us today, Danny.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having breakfast with us
earlier
today.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, is Rob as hard of an interviewer as his kids are?
You know what? Your kids are a little bit harder. I see where they get it from, though. I see where they get it from, and they come by it honestly.
They just want to know why, Danny. Just why.
Oh, my God. That tripped me up so much. I answered, red's my favorite color. Why? Okay, fire, love, passion. Okay, why? And where do I go from here? I don't actually. And actually, I was chuckling to myself because I'm asking that of artists all the time. Okay, but why? Like, why? Why do I care?
Yes.
Why? Okay, sweet. Great, but why?
So she had the right question.
So I was like, oh my God, this is like a taste of my own medicine. This sucks.
That's the best. I love it.
Well, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us as well right here. Late Night Beat, Ange and Rob, in, out, and about on Giant TV.
We're here with Danny Lamb and Rob LeClaire's daughters. We have Ainsley and Isla. They're both preparing interview questions for Danny Lamb. So, Ainsley, you're first.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Why?
Because it's the color of fire, passion, and love.
Why?
Because it's just powerful, you know?
Why?
We're getting deep here. Why? Because I think love is like a universal theme that all of us want, and all of us want to find in some kind of way or another. So I just think red is really why. Because everyone loves connection. Not everybody, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't generalize. But I think lots of people like connection. Lots of people like finding somebody that they
Why?
We have Isla LeClaire here now, ready to ask Danny Lamb a series of fast questions. Here we go.
20 questions in 1 minute.
Okay, I'm ready.
2, 1, go. What's your favorite color?
Red.
What's your first name?
Danny.
What's your last name?
Lamb.
What's your passion?
Music.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Country.
Canada.
What color would you dye your hair?
Blonde.
What's your favorite drink?
Coffee.
What's your favorite song?
Where the Streets Have No Name, U2.
What's your favorite board game?
Shoots and Ladders.
What's your favorite app?
Instagram.
What's your favorite gem?
Jam?
Gemstone.
Gem? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Diamond. Okay, thank you.
What's your favorite animal? What's your favorite animal?
A kangaroo.
What's your favorite emoji?
The smiley face.
Favorite number?
10.
Favorite flower?
Vowel?
Flower.
Rose.
Favorite word?
Slot.
Favorite shape?
Triangle.
Favorite one pair of complementary colors?
Oh my gosh, this is hard. Oh shoot.
Stump.
One pair of complementary colors.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What I think
Two colors that are opposite on the color wheel.
I don't even know.
Red and orange. No. Red. Wait.
Red and blue?
Orange and blue.
Orange and blue, okay.
I love
okay.
it.
Then that's my favorite.
Long or short hair?
Short. Well, you know what? That's a longer story. Because I used to have long hair and I loved my long hair.
No time. Fiction or non-fiction books? Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
What does fiction mean? Who is the king of pop art?
King of pop art?
Pop art.
Oh, wow.
Pop art. P-O-P.
Pop.
Art.
The king. What about the queen of pop art?
Who is the king of pop art?
Why
Answer
not the queen of pop art?
Answer the question.
Time. You have to give the answer.
Just give the answer. Fine.
Who was
Andy Warhol.
Oh,
Andy Warhol.
okay. Really, yeah. Great
Danny,
artist.
did you get stumped?
They both stumped me.
Well, you know, now that their dad's going to
Both of
interview
them.
you in just a few minutes. Let's see if
Can't
he
wait.
stumps you too. I'm sure you'll be okay.
Next time, I'm doing
Girls, thank you
Dad's
so much.
Yes.
Can I get high
Yeah,
fives?
get the high fives with Danny.
Nice.
Thanks so much, Danny, for joining us here.
No, let me
Can we trade hats yet?
No, put your hand up.
Come on.
I'm gonna give you 5, okay? Thank you for joining us today on Giant TV.